Comment down below what country and/or city you're watching from and subscribe for videos like this daily. Also, check out my other channel link in bio if you like drama revenge narratives. You won't regret it. The day I discovered my neighbor was stealing my water started like any other Tuesday in April. I'm Devin Washington, a 38-year-old software architect living in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Oak Ridge Heights. My contemporary single-story home on 47 Elmbrook Lane was my sanctuary after long days coding for a healthcare startup downtown. I'd purchased it 3 years ago, proud to be a homeowner despite the sometimes overbearing Oak Ridge Heights Homeowners Association. That morning, I received an email from my plumber confirming they'd be shutting off my water supply for 2 days to replace some corroded pipes under my foundation. No big deal. I'd crash at my brother Jamal's place until the work was completed. I packed an overnight bag, set my security system, and headed out. I'd arranged everything perfectly, or so I thought. "Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Washington," said Mike, my regular plumber. "We'll have your water back on by Thursday afternoon. Just make sure all your faucets are closed before we restore service." I nodded, tossing my gym bag into the back seat of my Tesla Model 3. "Thanks, Mike. I've got motion sensors and cameras set up, so I'll know if anything happens while I'm gone." What I couldn't have anticipated was that my temporary water shutdown would trigger a neighborhood meltdown of epic proportions, specifically for my next-door neighbor, Patricia Wilkinson. Patricia had moved in about 6 months after I did. A woman in her early 60s with bleached blonde hair, always styled in what I can only describe as an architectural feat. She was elected to the HOA board almost immediately. From day one, our interactions had been strained. She'd make comments about how impressive it was that I could afford a house in such a nice neighborhood, or ask if I was some kind of athlete. When I explained I worked in software architecture, she'd nod with that plastic smile that never reached her eyes, as if she couldn't quite process that information. I generally kept to myself, maintaining my yard meticulously to avoid giving the HOA any reason to find me. Patricia, however, seemed to find reasons to knock on my door. Complaints about my trash bins being visible from the street, they weren't. Concerns about a tree in my yard that was potentially diseased, it wasn't. Or questions about guests parking in front of my house, perfectly legal. Each interaction left a bad taste in my mouth, but I remained cordial, if distant. My brother Jamal lived about 20 minutes away in a downtown loft. When I arrived at his place Tuesday evening, we ordered pizza and watched the basketball playoffs. "Man, I don't know how you deal with those HOA people," Jamal said, taking a bite of pepperoni pizza. "Especially that lady you told me about." I shrugged. "Patricia, I just try to stay under the radar, keep everything by the book so she doesn't have ammunition. That's no way to live, bro, in your own home. Paying those HOA fees for what? The privilege of being harassed. It's a good neighborhood, good investment. The HOA maintains the common areas and keeps property values up." Even as I defended it, I knew my brother had a point. The constant vigilance was exhausting. Little did I know, as I sat in my brother's apartment enjoying a cold beer in the game, that Patricia was about to reveal just how far her entitlement extended. My phone buzzed around 9:30 p.m., a notification from my security system. Motion detected at my front door. Curious, I opened the app to check the live feed. What I saw made me nearly spit out my beer. There, on my front porch, was Patricia, wearing nothing but a towel wrapped around her body, her hair half wet, screaming and pounding on my door like a woman possessed. "Devin, open this door right now. I know you're in there. What have you done to the water? Turn it back on immediately." She was shrieking loud enough that my phone speaker was distorting. Jamal looked over my shoulder at the screen. "What the hell? Is that your HOA neighbor? In a towel?" I was already grabbing my keys. "Something's not right. I need to get over there before she breaks my door down." "I'm coming with you," Jamal said, already putting on his shoes. As we raced to my house, my security app continued sending alerts. Patricia wasn't leaving. If anything, her tirade was escalating. What I couldn't understand was why she was showering at her house but freaking out about my water being turned off. The pieces weren't fitting together. But one thing was certain. Whatever was happening, it was about to come to a head. We pulled into my driveway in record time. Jamal's driving, shaving precious minutes off the normally 20-minute journey. The security alerts hadn't stopped the entire drive. And as we approached my front door, I could hear Patricia's shrill voice even before seeing her. "I am on the HOA board. You cannot do this. This is harassment," she was screaming, still pounding on my door with surprising force for a woman her age. I took a deep breath, centering myself before what I knew would be an unpleasant confrontation. As a black man in an upscale neighborhood, I'd learned early that remaining calm in tense situations wasn't just preferable, it was essential. "Patricia," I called out as we approached, keeping my voice even. "What seems to be the problem?" She whirled around, clutching her towel with one hand, while pointing an accusatory finger at me with the other. Her hair was plastered to one side of her head, shampoo suds still visible along her hairline. If the situation weren't so bizarre, it might have been comical. "You!" she spat, face contorted with rage. "What did you do to the water? Turn it. Back on right now." I kept my distance, maintaining a neutral expression. "My water is shut off for plumbing repairs. It was scheduled work." "You can't just shut off water without notifying the HOA," she shrieked. I furrowed my brow, confusion, momentarily overriding my caution. "Why would my water being off affect your shower?" Something flickered across her face. A momentary break in the outrage quickly replaced by renewed indignation. In that split second, I knew there was more to this story than a neighbor dispute. "The whole street must be affected," she stammered, adjusting her towel. "The water pressure just suddenly stopped." "That's interesting," I said slowly, "because the water company only turned off service to my house. No one else's supplies should be affected." Patricia's eyes darted around, looking anywhere but at me. I noticed she had her phone clutched in her hand, and she was nervously tapping at the screen. "Who are you calling?" "Patricia?" I asked, a sinking feeling in my gut. "The police," she announced, lifting her chin defiantly. "You're harassing me by cutting off my water. This is discrimination." Jamal, who had been silently observing, let out a disbelieving laugh. "Lady, you're on his property, half-naked, screaming like a banshee, and you're calling the cops on him?" I raised a hand to quiet my brother, then pulled out my own phone and started recording. Something wasn't adding up, and I needed documentation. "Patricia, you're saying your water stopped when mine was turned off for scheduled maintenance? That shouldn't be possible unless..." I paused as realization dawned. "Unless your house is somehow connected to my water supply." Her eyes widened, and I knew I'd hit on something. That's ridiculous. I would never. The HOA would never." But she was floundering, and we both knew it. I heard her speaking into her phone. "Yes, operator. I need police at 47 Elmbrook Lane. My neighbor is harassing me and has deliberately cut off my utilities. I feel unsafe. He's threatening me. I'm recording this entire interaction." "Patricia," I said calmly, holding up my phone, "the police are welcome to review the footage from both my security cameras and this recording. They'll see exactly who approached whose house and who is making threats." Her face contorted with fury. "You have no right to record me. This is an invasion of privacy. You're on my property making false accusations. There's no expectation of privacy here." As if on cue, we heard sirens in the distance. Patricia straightened, adjusting her towel with a smug expression. "We'll see what the police have to say about this." While waiting for the police, I reviewed my security footage. The cameras had captured Patricia's entire meltdown, including something interesting. Before pounding on my door, she tried to access my backyard where the main water valve was located. The gate was locked, thwarting her attempt to turn my water back on herself. 2 patrol cars pulled up, and officers Thomas and Rodriguez approached cautiously, taking in the unusual scene. A professional black man and his brother standing calmly on one side of the porch, and an elderly white woman in a towel on the other. "What seems to be the problem here?" Officer Rodriguez asked, his expression carefully neutral. Patricia immediately launched into her narrative. "This man has cut off my water to harass me. I was in the shower when everything just stopped. He's targeting me because I'm on the HOA board and enforce the rules. I want him arrested for utilities, tampering and harassment." Officer Thomas turned to me. Sir, your response? I have scheduled plumbing work at my home, I explained, maintaining my composure. The water to my house and only my house was turned off this morning with proper permits and notification to the utility company. Somehow, this has affected Ms. Wilkinson's water supply, which suggests her home may be illegally connected to my water line. I played the security footage showing Patricia's attempts to access my backyard water valve.